Hey everybody, Sean from Media Assault here, and this week I'm going to be reviewing a movie that I just picked up very recently for a really low price, and as such I'm going to kick off a new series here on Media Assault, and I'm just going to call it Bargain Bin Reviews, and it's basically going to be movies that I've picked up really cheap that I think you should see. These won't be movies that I'm going to trash or anything, and I usually don't review movies that I don't like very often, mainly because I'm trying to expose everybody to movies that are high quality. But bargain bin reviews may be a little different than that. It's just going to be movies that I take a chance on that don't cost me too much. But this week, this is a movie that I knew I was going to enjoy because I've seen it several times. I've lost count how many times I've seen this movie, but I never owned it until recently when I picked it up for $6 brand new, still sealed, and that's Stephen King's The Dead Zone, starring Christopher Walken and Brooke Adams and Martin Sheen and Anthony Zerbe and Tom Skerritt. And this movie was released in 1983 and was later turned into a TV series, which I've never seen, and of course it's based off Stephen King's novel The Dead Zone, which I haven't read, so all I have to base my opinion on is the movie, which really is all that I care about anyway. The movie takes place, the movie actually tells the story of Johnny Smith, not the most original character name by far, but hey, what can you do? But Johnny Smith seems to have his life together at the beginning of the film. He's a school teacher, he's happily engaged to Sarah, played by Brooke Adams, and everything seems to be going swimmingly. And then he gets into a car accident, and that car accident puts him in a coma for 5 years. And when he emerges from the coma, two things are different. Number one, he's no longer engaged. His girlfriend is now married to another man and has children with that man. And the other thing is that he now has the power of second sight. And this power that he has requires him to actually touch someone for it to work. And the first time he uses it, or we see an example of it, he's in this clinic where he's recovering from his accident. And a nurse comes in to check on him, and he grabs her arm and he warns her, hey, your daughter is screaming, your house is burning. But it's not too late, so she runs out of the hospital and gets home just in time to see firefighters pulling her daughter out of her house. So he's kind of stunned by what happened, so he talks to his doctor. His doctor is played by the wonderful Herbert Lom, who some of you may know from the Pink Panther movies with Peter Sellers. And also, I believe he was in the version of The Invisible Man in the 60s. So one thing leads to another, and with the use of this power, he actually helps in the investigation of a series of murders that are going on in this town called Castle Rock. And through sort of the results of that investigation, he is forced to sort of isolate himself from human contact, and he rents an apartment and he begins tutoring young people in English, because that's what he did when he was a school teacher. And a client comes in, and it's a rich man. I don't think they ever say his name, but he's played by Anthony Zerbe. And Anthony Zerbe's character wants Johnny to tutor his son, Chris, who is very shy and withdrawn and isn't getting involved in anything. So Johnny goes and meets the boy, and when he goes to this boy's house, he comes across a chance meeting with a man running for Senate named Greg Stilson, who's played by Martin Sheen. And I won't spoil the rest of the film, but there is an involvement with this politician and the second sight that leads Johnny's character to have sort of another vision of the future, I guess you can say. And this is a horribly kept secret, but I'm going to try to keep it, at least in my review, because I don't like to spoil anything for you if you haven't seen the movie, so you can get some enjoyment out of it. But basically, this is a movie that was directed by David Cronenberg, who is well known for making rather bizarre type films like Crash, not the more recent Crash that won an Oscar, but the old Crash with James Spader, which is kind of a bizarre film. This is probably director David Cronenberg's most accessible, least bizarre film. And that's a good thing. And I've said in other reviews and videos that I'm not a big fan of David Cronenberg. I am a fan of his work on this movie, and I'm a big fan of this movie. The score by Michael Kamen is fantastic. Really sets the mood and creates a wonderful atmosphere for the film. When the film begins, it sort of looks like it's going to be a bad TV movie. The opening credits are kind of lame, and there's like still photos of the town, and it looks really low budget. But the rest of the movie is a huge upswing from the rather bizarre opening. What else is good about this movie? The performance of Christopher Walken. I mean, I can't say enough about that. If you're aware of Christopher Walken's later work, this performance may get a chuckle or two out of you, but this is kind of where the more well-known persona of Christopher Walken came from. I think this is one of the first performances where he sort of emerged as this kind of character unto himself, where somebody says, "Oh, you're doing Christopher Walken. I'm not going to imitate him." But this is sort of the iconic Christopher Walken type performance, the sort of repeating himself and kind of looking alienated and sort of withdrawn, and it all comes basically from this performance. So if you're a Christopher Walken fan and you haven't seen this movie, I don't know what's wrong with you. Go out and see it anyway. But this performance really sums up Christopher Walken in an hour and a half, 2 hours, however long the film is. Really, I can't comment on the book, I can't comment on the TV series, but I will say that The Dead Zone is a movie that you should see. It's a movie that you can pick up really, really cheap. Like I said, I got it for $6. Half-price books, still sealed. It says it's a special collector's edition. There are not any giant features inside here. There's really nothing, just a little sensor that will alert people that I'm trying to steal it if that were the case. There are some special features on the disc. Memories from the Dead Zone, the look of the Dead Zone, visions from the Dead Zone, the politics of the Dead Zone, and the theatrical trailer. Not a whole lot for the $6, but the movie's well worth it, and will provide you with a great night's worth of entertainment. So check out The Dead Zone. I give it 8.5 out of 10. Things I don't like about it, the special effects, what little there are not really that great. Like I said, the opening of the film kind of makes it look like a TV movie, although it does improve later. This movie features some of the ugliest wallpaper in history. I'm not really sure anybody's ever mentioned that about this movie, but check out the wallpaper in some of the scenes, and you wonder who the set designer or the set locator or the scout or whatever was drinking while they came up with the sets for this movie. Kind of some weird stuff. But anyway, check out The Dead Zone. The good far outweighs the bad. If I have to pick on the wallpaper, you know I'm really digging for bad stuff. So check out The Dead Zone. Do it. And subscribe. Please. I'm almost at 50 subscribers. Let's get it up there. Alright, check out the rest of the videos here on Media Assault. And of course, you've got my website at media-assault.com. Plenty more reviews where this came from. So check it out. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.